Okay, we just got the sign that we are live. Hello, everyone. We are 170 live participants at this moment in the webinar. We are looking forward for this session. Welcome to the Shelly streaming room, everyone. Today, this is the third partner collaboration webinar together with Homey, and we are speaking specifically for PV systems and how to integrate them. Looking forward to hear what Homey have to share. Abe and Cohen are here from Homey. Urlin, who is the PV and solar system expert from Shelly's side, is here with us. So I'm looking forward for this great collaboration. Let me share once again with you on a slide the actual presenters, Abe, Cohen, and Urlin. And the agenda for this session is at the beginning, we will start with an introduction, and then we will move to the PV systems overview, Shelly and Homey integration with PV systems. Then we will have use cases and solutions and a great demo from both sides. At the end, we will open the Q&A. Please feel free to use the chat. You know the drill. The people that are joining our webinar, you know very well the drill that the chat is the place where you can ask all your open questions. And at the end, we will open the Q&A floor where we will answer almost all of the questions. Sometimes the chat is becoming pretty hot, crowded, so we are not able to answer all of the questions, but definitely we will try. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone from the internal teams from Homey and Shelly that are tracking and following the chats and answering and helping. This is essential for us. Appreciate the support. And from now on, I'm just gonna say Abe and Cohen, welcome, and you can take over from here.
Great. Thank you for the introduction. So I'm Abe from Homey. I'm responsible as head of partnerships at Homey, together with Koen.
Yeah, I'll be the commercial, chief, you can say, chief commercial officer that is.
Perfect. Yes, and we're going to show you something about using your large electrical appliances together with your PV, all integrated with Shelly and Homey. So the first thing that I want to highlight is our Homey for Installers tool. So we can get that on screen as well. So this is the Homey for Installers tool. You will get access to this tool after you follow the certified installer training. And what you as an installer can do here is you can manage all the Homeys that you've installed. As you can see here, we have a couple of Homeys within this list. So these are all the Homeys that we as a company have installed. We can also see which version these Homeys are running on. We can see if they are online, updating, or offline. And what you can see on the right side of the screen is that we have two Homeys here where we can request access. So in case we need to modify something or install an additional device or change some settings, we can request access here, and the user will get a notification on their phone letting them know that you as an installer want to get access. And we also have two other Homeys where we already have access. So access is usually it's 24 hours that you will get access, and you can see here when it will expire as well. And what's also pretty cool, if you want to get a good overview of where the Homeys are located, you can also use it in a map view. And for example, if we go to Enschede here, also the town where office is located, you can see we have 3 Homeys here. We can select the Homey to see what the current status is. So that's what you can see in the Homey installer tool. And then what we are here today is we had a customer reach out who asked us if we can install their solar panels within their Homey, and also if we could make sure that their energy usage within their household is optimized. So what we can easily do here is we have the Homey demo, and what we can do is we can press Open Web App. And that will bring us to the Homey of this end user. So we can, we now have access to their Homey. We can view the devices, view the flows, the insights, and Homey script. And what we want to do first, since the customer has asked us if we can install their inverter, is we can head over to the Homey App Store. So this is comparable to the app store you would have on your phone, but only in this case, we would be installing this app on the user's Homey. So in this case, for example, the user has asked us to install their Enphase inverter. So we can simply search for Enphase, and it will show all the results for the possible apps that are available for installation. So in this case, we have a official integration with Enphase. So you can simply select that app, and then you can, on the page, you can view the supported devices. So in this case, it's the inverter and the battery. And you can also show the available automation cards or flow cards, as we call them. And then what we can do is we can simply install app. Then from the list, we can select the right Homey, press install app. And now the Enphase app will be installed on the user's Homey. So we can head back to the web app. And what we can do now, if we want to actually add the device, is go to the blue plus at the top, press new device. And as you will see in the section where it says your brands, it will already show Enphase since we just installed the app. So we can select Enphase, select inverter. And if we press connect, we will be taken to the screen where you as an installer can log in with the user's credentials. And then afterwards, the device will be added to the user's Homey. So if we go back, it will show up something like here, this for example. So we have solar panels here. We have another inverter here, in this case, a SolarEdge inverter. And all the data of the inverter will be available within the user's Homey. Could, of course, be that there isn't a specific app for the inverter the customer is using. So in that case, you'll find that a lot of these devices also have Modbus built in. So what you can do is you can search for Modbus in the App Store. And we also have a dedicated app where you can connect the inverter over Modbus TCP, for example. And then you can put in the registers of the inverter to also get the data that way. So that would be another option. But of course, we also have a wonderful integration with all the Shelly products, and they also offer some great options if you want to get the data from your inverter or other electrical installation. But for example, your inverter itself isn't connected. So also give a quick highlight of a few products. Of course, first, what you can always do in case the end user has a smart meter in their home, you can install, for example, the Homey Energy dongle. This is a P1 enabled energy dongle that just plugs right into the user's smart meter to get the data. So we'll both get the data from the whole household, but when you're delivering back to the grid, that way you can also see how much PV you have available to manage within the home. But then again, if the customer doesn't have a connected inverter or a smart meter, which is the case in a lot of households, Shelly also offers some great products. So one of the products, for example, is the Shelly 3EM. So this is a three-phase meter. You can connect directly to the circuit breaker, and it will show up within user's Homey as well to get the data that way. Another great option if you don't have a three-phase system is, for example, the Shelly Pro EM50. So this is a one or two phase for one or two phase systems. And then what you also see, which is very common in a lot of countries, what you see a lot of people getting into with the current energy prices, is solar panels or batteries, for example, that just plug into your socket, just into a regular power socket. And in that case, you can use, for example, a Shelly Wave Plug S, which connects over Z-Wave with Homey to measure those devices as well. And we can quickly show how that works within Homey. So we have the plug here, and we can go back to the Homey web app. So what we can do if we want to add this device is we can go to the blue plus, go new device, then we'll search for Shelly, which is right here. And then we need to look for the wall plug. In this case, we're looking for the Shelly Wave Plug S. You can press connect. And Homey will now explain what you need to do to pair the device. So in this case, for the Shelly plug, we plug it in to the socket that we want to use. And as it says here, you need to press and hold the S button on the device until the LED turns solid blue. So we can do that now. Let's see. Try it again. Yeah, there we go. And then quickly release it and hold it again. And as you can see, that was the first step. Now we do it again. So we press and hold. Will turn blue. Press and hold again until it blinks. Now it's asking us for a PIN code, so that should be on the device. For us, that's 33073. And then we can press OK. Now we'll wait for a bit for the device to be added to Homey. Oh. Of course, as always, when you give a demo, it doesn't work. So let's quickly try that again. Hold the button. Release it. Hold it again. Okay. And there we go. 33073. We press connect. There we go. As you see, the plug is now being added to our Homey. And what we can do is, of course, we can see the power and the energy usage. We can also turn the plug on or off. And what is most interesting, if you want to use this device for example, solar panels, is that you can also classify this plug as a solar panel. So you can head over to the device settings, and then within the settings, you'll find a section where it says plugged in. It's currently set to other. But what we can do here is we can either say, for example, a heat pump, or you can say, for example, a EV charger. If you just have a regular plug-in EV charger, it could be a battery. But in our case, we can also select solar panel. And then we press save. So in this case, the device itself will be identified as a solar panel. And as we'll see later on as well, if we demo Homey Energy, this device will show up within Homey Energy as a solar panel. So that's a couple of ways that you can connect these products. So that is for the quick introduction of how that also works. Now I want to head it back so that we can go into our demos. Let's see, can we get
awesome, perfect. Thank you very much for the great walkthrough, Abe. It was very interesting. As you can see, it's very straightforward. Also, everyone to add the Shelly product, to activate the inverter app. So very straightforward, easy as that. So now it's Orlin's turn to continue with the demo.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Abed. You have a great demonstration, really helpful. I learned a lot of stuff. So the next what we have, so now we are closing the circle between production energy and consuming energy. So the first part, what Abed described is how you can manage to connect to the systems that are actually producing energy for our entire system. And what I will try to share as much with you is how to close the circle between producing and consuming energy. So on the first hand, let's see our energy as a budget, as something that we talk about more financial. So in one hand, we have the PV system, the solar panels that are actually our debit. This is something where our pure incomes from the energy perspective are coming with no losses. We don't owe anything to anyone, so this is our energy. On the other hand, we have our credit, which is what we're consuming from the grid, so we should pay it back from time to time, each month, let's say. And of course, our pockets. Our pocket is our batteries. So we now know that the PV systems can be connected over Modbus TCP. The batteries can be monitored via smart plugs. And we can see what is going on through the entire system. Thanks to the EM devices, we can monitor what is going on to the grid and off the grid, depending on what we are do we need a credit, energy credit, let's say, and it is now time to fit in our inverter output, which is our budget, and how we can do this. first we should know that we have certain amount of energy that we should fit in. And for this example, we will share with you how you can switch off particular circuits in your household or in your flat or in the entire building, depending on what is the scale of your project. And one of these products that we already mentioned and we demo on different events is the circuit breaker, the CB, the automated CB. As you already may know, it is powered from the one side. It can be either controlled via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. If you want to go on more professional way, you can always plug it into the Ethernet, and then the possibilities to control it not only when the shortage came on the controlled side of the circuit, but of course you can switch it off. And why you would like to switch it off? There's different cases, and one of the cases that we would like to share with you today is the vacation. Of course, maximum safety, minimum energy consumption, we would like to fit into our budget. So this flow is made of a separate processes. The first process, of course, described when we are, what is the condition to decide that someone is in home or not in home. The second flow is helping to flip the process. The third row is helping to have a timing. Of course, the people who are more familiar with detecting events with sensors and most of the human presence, all sorts of events can be used for human presence. And of course, when the event finishes, we can say that the people is not there, but of course, we all know that peer sensor cannot be used like this way, so it can produce the first event when someone is in home or when the consumption rise up. This means also someone at home, but we should have a bit time to the entire system when we left to understand that all the signals are going a certain state to determine that there is no one at home. And for this purpose, we're using timer that is saying, okay, after this period, if no changes of consumption of sensor state or temperatures are not changed, okay, we're assuming that our home is empty, so there's no one home, and we would like to increase our safety and decrease the energy consumption. And then there come the fourth flow, which actually switching on and off the circuit breaker. And based on this flow and extending it by your needs, you can cover all your cases for increasing the safety and decreasing the power consumption of the household that you are managing.
So we are handing over to Homey, I believe, once again. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was very interesting.
Thank you, Orlin. Very good story here. So
Absolutely.
I want to go and show you what you can do with all sorts of different automations. The automations, of course, are in this case made in advanced flow. So that's a way to automate things in Homey. In this case, it's PV curtailment. Because in a situation where energy prices may be negative, you want to make sure that you don't produce energy, because that's technically just costing you money. So what we have here is the trigger that says electricity price has changed, and the current electricity price is less than €1 or zero mean. That's what it says here. Then you can basically set the target power of your connected solar panels to 0, which means that you're curtailing it. Of course, you can lower it a bit or set it at any value that you like, but in this case, you can either switch it off or set it to 0. When indeed the electricity price is not less than 0, you want to make sure you set your solar panels at a certain height so that it can produce. That's basically it. It's
Sure.
very simple. So we go back to Orlin, who's going to show us one of their new beautiful products. And then Aba's going to show you how to automate this.
Awesome.
Cool, thank you. To finish the closing the circle of power consumption, I have a really nice story. Thank you for encouraging me. And the story is very simple. If we assume that we have a budget, for example, of 5 kilowatts, 5 kilovolt amperes, depending on what you would like to see, it is a possible scenario that you might have a nice dinner with friends, so you need the energy to produce the nice dinner. And of course, you would like to charge your car by using the smart charger. So what is the best scenario from this perspective? The entire energy that is needed for cooking the nice dinner and having nice time with the friends and family can be redistributed to the cooker, and then the car become a less priority. So instead of just charging the car, you can lower the energy to the car by using the smart EV charger. Let me read the model. EVE01-11R, which is a portable powered by Shelly product, and it lives into the ecosystem of Homey. So the Homey have the flow to say, okay, let's decrease the power. I will need this power for anything else. And then the power goes to the cooker. The dinner is passing, and after this, the charging of the car can continue with full maximum power of the budget that you're using for charging the car. Of course, this EV charger supports single-phase and three-phase mode, which is make it suitable for both scenarios depending on the PV system that you're installing in your household, apartment, or smart building.
Yes. So let's have a quick look at what that looks like in practice. So we have a flow here that shows perfectly how you can automate the charger via Homey. So basically what you can do here is you can, via the Shelly 3M, so that measures the total power usage of your home. We also have the inverter here, and we're basically using this data to decide if the charger should stop charging or set the target power. So basically when the power becomes greater than 150 watts, so we're using power instead of delivering back to the grid, and the car is currently charging. So we also have our, let me quickly zoom in. Our car connected here is what we can do is we can say, hey, for now, stop charging since we don't have any energy budget left within the home. But what we can do as well is in the case that we are delivering, for example, 1500 watts back to the grid for 2 minutes, or our inverter is generating more than 1500 watts. And we, of course, also want to make sure in that case that we're not importing any power. We see that the car is charging. In that case, we can set the target power to whatever set point you want. So in this case, we choose 1610. But what you could also do is you could set the target power to the exact power you are generating. So for example, you can choose a little tag here, and then you can grab the power from your Shelly, or what you can do, of course, from your inverter. So we go to Solar Edge. Let's see, Solar Edge. We can also take the generated power, for example. So in this case, it will set the target power to the generated power. So in the end, your meter will show 0, as the car charger will charge at the exact rate of the solar you are generating within your home. This is a quick practical use case of what you could do with that excess energy and your Shelly car charger. All right. Let's head on to the next one. I will hand it back to Koen, who will show you a cool use case with cooling.
Yeah, a cool use case that is.
A cool use case.
Absolutely. So, cooling and heating is, of course, something that is very energy consuming. And the benefit of cooling down or heating your house is that you can use your house itself that can accumulate whether the heat or the cold. So in this case, going to the, saving the flow, no. Going to the case where we're going to cool down the house. So what we have here is external inputs. So not only what the Shelly 3M is metering, or what the house is consuming at that time, you can also use the forecast for solar production. So you can already anticipate on the fact that your house or that your solar panels will generate electricity. And maybe a temperature change of the outside may have an impact on this. So that's the main input. And then the conditions could be that, for example, the outdoor temperature is already higher than 21 degrees, and the indoor temperature is greater than 20, because that would be a point that you may want to cool it down. If you then know if somebody is at home or not, so then you can adapt to it. So the thing is, if nobody's at the home, you can set the temperature lower, because then it's still not uncomfortable. If the person is indeed at home, you may want to set it to a somewhat more comfortable 19.5 degrees. Of course, it can be much colder than this or higher than that in any case, which is also the case for heating, for example. So if then the power becomes greater later, on more than 500 watts, so you stop indeed having overproduction in your home, you can switch off the airco again to make sure that this thermal buffering does not cost you anything. Back to Abe.
Yes. So that was cooling, and I also have a look at heating, since that's the other one that we also want to show. Let's see, it's under living room. This is a bit more simple. So basically what we're doing here, we're again taking the external weather data into account as well. And of course, we have the activity or inactivity of the living room together with our generated power. So what we can do here is, let's say the living room, the zone has been active for 10 minutes. So you can do that with a motion sensor or presence sensor. Shelly also has a couple of great ones. Is what you can do here is you also have the outdoor temperature. So let's see, hey, outdoor temperature is currently less than 3 degrees. That might be a case where you want to turn on the heating. So in that case, it simply turns on the heating. Quite simple. But what we can do as well, let's say in this case, we are using quite a bit of power and the living room has been inactive. And we also see that, for example, the temperature is quite big. These are all reasons that we can use to automatically turn off the heating. So let's say, hey, there's no one in the living room. Doesn't really make sense to heat the living room in that sense. We can turn it off, or we can do it based on power, or we can do it based on comfort. In this case, looking at both the outside as well as the inside temperatures. So that's the other half of it. The next one, that will be the swimming pool for people that have a swimming pool. That's also a real cool product you can use.
Yeah, it's a luxury we all dream to have, especially here in the Netherlands. We'll never have that heat, I think. Swimming pool. And again, let me stress that what we do here is just one way of automating things. We're still using here the advanced flows, but you can script these, so you can use flow as well. And maybe even different ways of automating it, but that's for a different webinar. Here again, we're showing that we have more than 1750 watts excess of energy for more than 5 minutes, and it's also one of the cheapest 4 hours of the electricity price, of the dynamic energy price of the day. And the energy price is less than 1 cent. You may set the temperature, you may start the heating of your swimming pool. That basically means that you're doing it either with excess self-produced energy of your solar panels, or you use a very cheap energy to heat your pool. Here again, it's a perfect example that you can thermal buffer your energy in, and you can really store a lot of energy in water. Also here is that if you indeed start producing more energy or less energy than you need, or the energy prices are quite high, you may stop this. So you switch off the heater again of your swimming pool. So all these examples that we've now shown have not only a comfort or an eco impact on what you do with your energy. It has a commercial value as well. Me being the commercial guy of the party here, I want to stress that this impact that you make by automating these things is worth something. You can measure exactly how much the devices connected to Homey consume. You know what these what this translates to in terms of money value, which means that you can maybe the market tells us that many consumers are willing to pay for this. You can maybe have a monthly subscription for your connected customers based on the results that you actually make. So we're going here straight to Homey Energy. So Homey Energy is one of the ways of Homey that we display all the impact that Homey Energy has. So here's the electricity today. So that's both the import and the export. In this case, we imported the most. We have the solar production right here, of which the percentage of self-use is 92%. The connected devices that we have in the top consumer. So that's all the devices that you want to measure the energy from. In combination with the dynamic energy prices, of course, you know exactly what it costs. And then we have gas pricing. We have the dynamic energy pricing, not only of today, but of tomorrow as well. So that's the day ahead pricing. You see all your favorites right here. And not entirely irrelevant. You can really dive into the details of these specific ones. And then if you want to really go into the use of them, so the insights, let's say, of these specific devices, then we have Homey Insights, of which I will explain to you.
Yes. So Homey Energy is really great to get that overview. So you will get the prices, you will get the exact data. But what's even more fun is if you can start comparing graphs and device data. So we have Homey Energy. And within Homey Energy, you will find all your different devices. So we have, for example, our lights, we have motion sensors, everything's here. But also all the Shelly products that we have connected to Homey all can show their data here. So we can get these graphs. And what we can do in that case is we can look at the power usage of our home. So let's quickly grab the 3M. That's this one. And what we can now start doing within this graph is add another chart. So in this case, we might want to compare it with, for example, our Solar Edge. Let's see, the power. So we want to look for power, and then we'll search for our Solar Edge inverter right here. Let's see, we have our solar panels, EV charger. Let's have a quick look. Where is that? Shelly power strip. So many products in this home. Here. For example, we have our Lotus, so we can add that one. And we can add the Solar Edge inverter. So we'll add these graphs on top of it, so you can really compare the data. So you can see that the green graph that we have here, that's the Solar Edge inverter. And you can see how much power we've been generating. And on top, we see the Shelly 3M that measures the total power usage within the home. So you can really display these graphs on top of each other to compare the data, see where the power is going, and see how the devices within your home react to one another. So that's a really great use for Homey Insights if you want to get a somewhat more deeper insight. And again, what Koen was also hinting to is looking at the commercial value here, is you can really show the end user the amount of power they are saving, the money they are saving, the impact they are having on all their devices. That's all really made visual with Homey Insights.
Yeah, not importantly, the automations really allow users to benefit from it without really having to do anything for it. So there's one last section that we want to show here, and that is indeed if you as an installer made or connected all these appliances, made these beautiful automations, and also start generating money for your customers, really, because of the savings that you make. you want to give them access to the data that is relevant and readable for your audience. You know, we as pretty technical people in general, I think we all like to look at and play around with these graphs. But your Mr. Average user, your customer maybe, want to have the more easy and more beautiful view on the things that matter most for them, the stuff that they understand. So for that, we have Homey dashboards. And again, it will be Abe to show you how that works.
Yeah, so I will quickly show you Homey dashboards. This is for you, the installer, I think one of the things that the end consumer will reach out to you. So of course you have the device overview within the Homey app where people can see all their different devices. But this can get really cluttered if you have a lot of devices like we have in our home. And of course, what you want to have within your app is just see all the data that's relevant to you. So we can head over to the dashboard section within the Homey app. And what we can do here is, for example, open this dashboard, which is called Home Overview. And we get a really nice overview of all the devices that are relevant to us. So we get a weather widget. We have speaker widgets if we want to quickly control the speakers. We can also get a nice camera view of our driveway. We have a weather map right here. And what we can also start doing is we can start adding widgets. So if we go to the little pencil at the top, we can, for example, add a widget here. And we either have widgets which are built in right into Homey, or we have widgets that are added through apps. So for example, we also have a Shelly widget that shows you which devices need updating. But for you, let's say the consumer asks you, hey, I want to get some more insights into the energy usage. So what you can do here is, for example, add a electricity prices widget. So you can add that widget first. So we'll get a nice widget here. And what we can also do is add another widget that has the energy usage. So we need to select the energy meter here. So let's quickly search for our Shelly 3EM. And then if we now go to add that widget, we will get another graph where we get the exact usage or the total household usage next to the energy prices. And you can expand this as much as you want. So you can add a lot of widgets. You can add just a few widgets. You can make it as extensive or as simple as you want, so that you can give your customer the exact overview that they need of their home, which is relevant to them. You can tailor this to energy. You can tailor this to their kids, to specific rooms. So this is, for example, a energy-related dashboard. You can customize it all you want in this case. And that was about all that we wanted to show you.
Yeah, so it's again, I would like to stress that all of these tools that you get are available. So you can sign up for the Homey Certified Installer program, and with that you get, after you pass the exam and the training, of course, you get access to all of this, and it's all for free. So that's definitely worth a look. And I think this again shows you, combined of course with the beautiful products of Shelly, really how to turn individual smart products into a system that benefits the end user, and it makes the return on investments quite short, especially if you automate them properly. And everything is measurable, so everything you do, everything you have, it's useful. So I think there are plenty of opportunities here, because this all has a value, and the value goes to you as an installer in the end. That'll be it. Let's go back to the team in Sofia then.
Okay, we are back. Thank you very much for the extensive presentation and all the scenes and flows that you have shown us. Really interesting. And definitely the audience is still strong here. But this is the first time that we don't have any questions in the chat, everyone. What is happening? What is happening? Thank you very much for sharing us your countries. You're welcome. Do you have any questions? Do you have any open questions? Let us know so we can answer. Okay, right away to Homey, where can beginner course be found? So Abe or Cohen, you can take over this question.
Ik heb geen, or do I need to?
Yeah, well, if you go to our website.
Yep. Okay, show what it looks like. So let's see. Can we get our screen there? Yeah, perfect. So we are on the Homey website. Let me quickly change it to English. Might be a bit easier. If you go all the way to the bottom, so we scroll all the way down, what you'll find there is some dedicated links, and what you'll find here as well is partners, and under the partner section we have a dedicated section for installers. So this is a page where you can find all the information that you need to know on why you want to become a certified installer, but also how you can become a certified installer. And then basically we have a nice blue button here where you can apply to become a Homey certified installer. So it's as easy as that.
Welcome, Tia.
So thank you very much. The next question is, I have a Shelly Homey question. When would Homey be available to the Shelly displays? Is the next question. I don't have the answer right away under my hand. So Abe and Cohen, I know that you're working closely with our technical team. So if you can take over this question, and if you have the answer, Abe, I know you're working with our team.
Yeah, so it's a question that we get very often. It's something that we are working on. So we don't have exact timelines. It isn't as easy as just putting the app on there, unfortunately. So it requires some work for it to work well and work easy and look nice. So it is something that we are working very hard on. But we can't, unfortunately, give a real timeline here. We always say internally it's soon with a small trademark behind it.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. What are the costs to become certified installer? This is for Homey. I believe they mentioned that it's free, but Abe, you can confirm. You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's indeed free. Yeah. No. So it doesn't cost you anything to become a certified installer. Only a bit of time to take the test, of course.
Well, and you do need to get yourself a the training kit. So the training kit is something you will get at a discounted price, and from that moment onwards, you will be able to follow everything for free. And once you're on board, it will be for free. The thing is that training kit is something you really need in order to properly fulfill the training and complete the training, because you want to be playing around with these devices, and you cannot just go online and follow the course, and it's all very easy, but still without you playing around with the devices and knowing how it works and knowing how to install it, of course you cannot be a certified installer. I think that's pretty clear.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. One question that is not dedicated to Homey and not dedicated to Shelly. It's about the inverter. The day inverter. Okay, let's answer this question since we don't have any other. Hi, I have one question. I have a problem with day inverter, which is sometimes offline. So the data is providing is not reliable all the time. How can I make a flow to check when the data was updated last time?
Actually, if we speak in the context of Homey device, probably you're using some kind of dongle that is connected directly to the inverter, and through this dongle you're probably seeing the cloud provisioning from external vendor, and the data is coming through locally through the network provider. So this can be a Wi-Fi network or Ethernet depending on the dongle, and the Homey is connected to the dongle. But instead, if you sometimes these dongles making updates, sometimes they're releasing connections because of the energy. And what we are proposing to hybrid inverters that have cable connectors to use RS485 enabled devices, and Modbus RTU goes through this connector. In our ecosystem in Shelly, we have two products that can solve this problem, and the first one is called Shelly Pro Modbus add-on. It's basically add-on that will be released very soon in the middle of, I think it will be in the middle of Q2. That is connected to the host device. We will share a specific table that contains information which of the Pro devices support this add-on. And basically what happens, the add-on is connected to the Shelly device, and then the information lives into the Shelly ecosystem. Of course, if you like to use it locally, it have an RPC commands. For the people who are familiar with integrations, this RPC commands will let you communicate directly with the inverter via RS485, and then the information will be again translated as an HTTP request that can be really easily connected to, for example, for Homey device or something like this. The other device is a Shelly Pill device. This is by Shelly device, and we're preparing now specific extension to it that will be connected to the 5-terminal connector. And again, the device is RS485 enabled, and you can connect it really easy to the DE inverter. In our laboratory, we already tested with some of the brands. DE is one of the brands that we did test, and the test pass really successful. So if you have more questions, I suggest you to write an email to the integrations team on Shelly site.
Perfect. Awesome.
I would,
Thank you very much for the suggestions.
Can I add something to
Yes,
the
absolutely.
question here, to the answer?
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a very good and very detailed answer to it. But there's something else that we, if you want to store the information, that can be both done in the cloud, but also local. So if indeed you have a Homey Pro in the equation, all that data is stored locally in the Homey Pro. So if indeed you are suffering an internet loss, that data will still be there. So you don't lose that data. So that's one of the reasons where you want to go maybe for a local Homey Pro in this case.
Perfect. So, Cohen and Abed, the next question is for you. Where can we find the training kit? Yeah, the training kit is the right.
Oh yeah, no, perfect. So we have distributors in most countries, and you can get the training kit via one of those distributors. And as soon as you sign up for the course, we will also provide you with a list of distributors where you can order one of these kits.
Awesome. Is there hardware necessary to run Homey on? Straight away, answer is there, but Abe, you can take over.
So yeah, to run Homey or to use Homey, you can buy some of our products. So Homey runs either in the cloud or it runs locally. So we have Homey Cloud and Homey Pro are the two product categories. Homey Cloud doesn't require any hardware. So you just install our mobile app and you create an account, and that way you can already use a Homey for free up to 5 devices. So you can connect, for example, 5 Shelly devices, and that's all free. You can start automating those, get their data. That can all be done. If you want to connect more than 5 devices, we do have a subscription called Homey Premium, which comes in at €3 per month. So that allows you to connect a limited amount of devices, and also gives you access to variables in your flows, insights, and all that cool stuff. But then I think what's most valuable to the end users is our Homey Pro. So we have the Homey Pro family, which consists of 2 hubs, which is the Homey Pro and the Homey Pro Mini. These are local hubs that run that Homey operating system on the device itself. So you're not dependent on the cloud, and you get all the functionality on there for free. So there are no monthly costs involved with the Homey Pro. And what's also nice about the Homey Pro is that all the data, all the automations store on the device. So nothing is stored on our cloud. You can also run Homey Pro on your own hardware or on the customer's hardware using Homey self-hosted server, which is basically the software but on your own hardware. So you're running Homey Pro on your own Raspberry Pi, for example. That comes with a free trial for 30 days. But you can also purchase a lifetime license for €149 or $149. And we also offer a monthly license as well, which comes in at €5 per month. So multiple ways there to get started with Homey.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. My next question here is very interesting, and it's to Shelly and Homey. It's about SIG energy system. Several functions. So today with the AI, I think we have several functions on the inverter. For example, the SIG energy system. I'm not sure if I'm reading this correctly. How do we integrate this kind of system with Homey and Shelly? So since we are very into SIG energy, and
basically, what our partners from SIC Energy is doing, they're integrating our devices into their system. One of the best ways to control and manage the energy cycle is to control it from the system that are actually producing the energy. So the companies, our partners who are focused on producing this kind of system, they're basically integrating our devices because, as you may know, the concept of Shelly is hubless. We're living when the user buys the device, it lives alone. So the device are integrated via its own API to the SIC energy system. So basically, the inverter, the control board of the inverter, is communicating directly with the Shelly devices, and the automations are stored into the SIC energy system. So in case to communicate with the Homey system, probably the Homey should integrate the inverter itself by the appropriate way that is provided by the vendor.
okay.
Yes, I believe my colleague also said it in the chat, but we do also have a currently community-built integration with SIG Energy. I don't know if my colleague can quickly show my screen. So I can quickly show what that looks like. So within the Homey App Store, if you search for SIG Energy, you'll find this app built by Richard Berkenstam, which integrates with, for example, the battery, energy meter, EV chargers, inverters. So this can also be used, and this is available for Homey Pro. So that's good to mention here, since it works locally through Modbus.
So basically, the process is inverted. It's not in the hand of the vendor, but it's in the hand of the community, which is also a possible way. Yes, I understand.
Exactly.
Okay, the last question that we have here. Hello, are Homey compatible with Somfy.io? I don't know. I never heard about this brand, but you can check also the question from here. So this is to Abe and Cohen, the team.
Somfy is indeed supported. So there are multiple ways to connect your Somfy-enabled devices. Somfy has 43 megahertz based blinds, for example, in sockets. If you have a Homey Pro or a Homey Bridge, those come in with a 43 megahertz transmitter and receiver. So these products can be connected and controlled directly via Homey. So if you have a Homey Pro or Homey Bridge. But in the case that, for example, you have one of their Tahoma or Connect Soon bridges, which also come with their own APIs, you can also connect those to Homey. And those work both on Homey Cloud as well as Homey Pro. So yeah, the Somfy products also work with Homey.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So this is the last question for this session. We will not answer any other questions. Let's move to the closing part. And then if you have any further questions, can we just present the slide, please? The last slide. Actually, this is on me. Wait a second. Okay, this is the last slide. If you have any further questions, just write down the emails that we have on the slide, and you can connect with us anytime. If you have any further questions, feel free. We are here to help. We are here to support. This presentation and this recording will be released on our Shelly Academy YouTube channel very soon, in a couple of days. And you can watch it, and we will share it also in shelly.com, Shelly Academy, once again, page. You'll find it there as well. Yes, overall, this is it. My suggestion also to you would be, feel free to let us know if you would like to learn anything else about Shelly and Homey through this email channels or through Shelly Facebook community. Just reach out to us and let us know what else you would would like to learn, or you can add it to the chat now right away if you have any ideas in mind, so we can prepare webinars or trainings for your specific needs. Thank you very much, everyone. Wishing you a great day or great evening or great morning, wherever you're located. See you on the next one.
See you soon.
Thank you as well.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Abe and Cohen. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well for hosting us. Thank you.